Rainollon here. Today is yet again another build showcase, and it's Gaze Primary. So, let us immediately start. There are two builds I'm going to show you today, but let's first start with the parts. The parts I'm using on my Gaze Primary: Grip, Brash. What Brash does gives you fire rate and beam range, and Gaze is a beam weapon. Chamber, Gaze, the weapon itself, and Loader, Splat. Splat gives you critical chance and magazine size, but does lower your reload speed and stash chance. Those are the parts. Now it's time for me to start with the first build. For the first build, it's the viral setup. The mods I'm using for this setup: I'm using Galvanized Zap for stash chance and direct damage per status and target, Galvanized Scope for critical chance while aiming, Galvanized Chamber for multi-shot, Vital Sense for critical damage, Speed Trigger for fire rate, Hellfire for heat right here, Malignant Force for toxin stash chance, Prime Cry rounds for cold, and Toxin gives us viral. These are the mods. For the Exos weapon adapted slot mods, I will highly recommend for you to go is Sinister Reach for plus 12 beam range, which is quite nice. For the Arcanes, Arcane Packs. Arcane Packs, this is a Pax Charge Arcane for the Kit Gun. What it does, it turns the weapon into a battery system. Instead of you reloading, you just wait a couple of seconds and it will reload for you, which is quite nice. You have infinite ammo, and that's kind of nice. You can of course use Pack Seeker. That's also a solid option. For the primary Arcane, primary Deadhead is for me personally by far the best in slot. 360 increased damage, headshot multiplier, and weapon recall. All these stats are really good for this weapon. Those are the Arcanes. For the stats, the fire rate is very good. The magazine size is kind of low for this weapon type. Reload is fast. Accuracy is very high. Hold. Beam range is 30, which is quite good. Rivenous position is good. Critical chance, critical damage, multi-shot is by far the best in slot. And I will remove Hellfire for it. Critical chance is good, critical damage is good, stash chance is below average, and total damage is below average. So, those are the stats, the mods, the Arcanes. Now it's time for me to show you the second setup. For the second setup, the Acuity setup, the mods I'm using for this build: I'm using Galvanized Zap for stash chance and direct damage per status and target, Galvanized Scope for critical chance while aiming, Speed Trigger for fire rate, Vital Sense for critical damage, Hammer Shot for critical damage and stash chance, Malignant Force for toxin stash chance, Prime Cry rounds for cold, and toxin gives us viral, and primary Acuity, which gives you weak point damage and weak point critical chance, but multi-shot cannot be modified. So those are the mods. For the Arcanes, all the exact same: Pax Charge, primary Deadhead. And for the stats here, they're nearly identical. I lost heat, but I got more critical damage and more stash chance. That's it. So those are the stats, the mods, the Arcane, and it's time for me to show you against the units. And let's start. I'm going to spawn level 205, steal a path for Gibber Group Dudes. This is the first setup, no buffs or armor strip. So the way it works, you're going to shoot enemies ahead to get the Deadhead stacks, Galvanized Chamber stacks, Galvanized Zap stacks. Once you do that, the weapon will melt these guys really fast, as you can see. Heavy Gunner. Yep, gone. Yep. So this weapon is very interesting. It does something that not single weapon does, and that is the beam doesn't work with multi-shot, but it works with Galvanized Zap. This is the only AoE weapon that works with Galvanized Zap, which is really interesting. The multi-shot does work on direct hits, but the disco ball it doesn't. Alright, now I'm going to show you the second setup, the primary Acuity one. Both of these builds you can use whatever Warframe you want. You don't need to use like 10 layers of buffs to make it work. It will be absolutely fine. Did that spawn only 15? Yeah, something is wrong. There we go. There we go. No buffs on the strip yet again. So you immediately start with orange, which is quite satisfying, and then once you get some Galvanized Scope stacks, red. It works. Acuity setup isn't that bad at all, because the disco ball doesn't work with multi-shot, so it's fine, right? Alright, come on. There we go. It's not the greatest kit gun, but it works. And it's very unique. You shoot like a disco ball. You can see it over there. It's very interesting. But yeah. And I think it's time for me to show you again Steel Path enemies. So let's go. And we are in. I'm up against the corrupted enemies, the Void, Steel Path, of course, it's survival, the map's called Mod. I'm going to show you this build here. No buffs around this strip, maybe later. Maybe later. This weapon truly needs some help. It's not the greatest kit gun, it's one of the worst ones. It's a massive meme. With a large amount of buffs you can make it work, but you can make every weapon work, you know. Saren with Toxin Lash kinda likes this weapon because the beam constantly procs and ticks Toxin procs from Toxin Lash. That's kinda good on her, but that's Saren, and Saren can make Stug even work. I just wish the beam itself was smaller. Make it like a really short range. But make the disco ball bigger. And make it work with multi-shot. That will be like really good. But sadly, they didn't. They left it as it is, and it's not that impressive when it comes to clearing or single target. It's very interesting. It's like a very unique weapon. Not a single weapon has this system. The whole disco ball. Multi-shot doesn't work, but Galen Zap does. Which is very weird. Maybe there are more AoE weapons that can work with Galen Zap, but I don't remember right now. I shoot this guy. I can use my first ability. Let's use my first ability. This will make Heat have a much higher chance to proc than Varl, which will help me with clear. And also gives me additive damage. There we go. Such an interesting weapon. I love unique weapons, but man, if a unique weapon isn't at least decent in a current meta of the game, I just don't feel like using it. So my first ability again. I can use my third ability, proc a bunch of heat, then use my first ability. There we go. Now I gave myself 335% heat. And now I'm melting these guys. Yeah, you have to use a buffer, sadly. You can technically go without any buffers. But the style is like slow. And if you don't mind speed or you didn't care about speed, of course, yeah, you can use this without any buffs, of course. War! I don't believe I can kill War with this. Let's see. Maybe I can. I'm also tomorrow releasing a Gaze secondary. I did minor changes to it. Maybe people will like it more. It's a really good overall secondary, and it's better than the primary one. The Gaze secondary is a chaining beam, while this is a disco beam. Damn, the whole family is here. War and Acolyte, damn. Well, let's see against Acolyte. War! Against War, I'm tickling him. Am I? Reload. Nah, I'm not doing a lot of damage. Let's armor strip. Oof, I can't even armor strip. Something ate my energy. I think a leech was nearby. There we go. I think I armor stripped. Yeah, armor stripped War. War's shield is gone. Stop shield gating. Give me Arcanes. Alright, Acolyte is next. I'm doing some damage at him. Come on. Oh, pack shards, come on. Stop using that stupid ability. He's so close. He's so... There we go, we got him. Alright, I think I've shown the weapon more than enough. It's time for me to leave, and I'll be right back. And there you have it. That's the Gaze primary. It somehow works. You can make it clear with a couple of buffs. It's slowish, but yeah, you can like use it. It's very interesting, very unique. Mirage makes it interesting as well. The multiplicative damage helps it a ton. You can also summon a bunch of disco balls with Mirage's clones. Saren works, but yeah, those are like one of the best buffers. And if you truly want to make it work, you have to utilize like the best buffers to make it clear ridiculously well. But like I said, you technically can use both of the builds and do content in their own speed, like fine-ish, I will say. But yeah, those are 2 builds. That's the weapon. I hope you enjoy the builds. Thank you again, everybody, for watching. Leave a like, sub, and of course, see you all next time. Thank you. Goodbye.